Alrighty.
We are back.
Back to the booth.
Next session with the Super Shredder.
And Ketramose. Again with Dragon Shield Matt. I'm here with the Blood Reds and you're playing the Midnight Blue.
Yes.
For those that are wondering. Thanks a lot for your trust. Definitely check out our link down in the description, as well as our code.
Yeah.
I think
best sleeves on the market.
Definitely the best sleeves. I think they recently added 2 new spicy colors that I wanted to explore too. Some sapphire pink, I think it's called. So some glitter pink, and then there are like petrol cyan ones, which are very
that's
much
your
my
type
thing.
of color.
Exactly.
I played the art, the Fetchland art
the
sleeves.
Misty Rainforest ones, right?
On our latest member focus.
Yep.
And they were great as well.
Yeah.
Some art sleeves have problems, but most of the Dragon Shield ones do pretty well. There is the issue of when you have a solid color, there's not going to be any color deviation at all. And sometimes with the art sleeves, there might be like a little bit of a scratch or something, and then you can see it on the sleeve. But other than that, yeah. Great.
Yeah, really good cards. By the way, if you want to check out the Spicy Tazigua member focus that Samuel played at the Grey Series, head over to the member section.
Yeah, some great games.
As Marcus always says, you have to pay less than a bottle of milk in order to be a member. So if that's a thing, head over. You will see some spicy games.
Yeah.
Let's focus on this matchup.
Yeah, we did Super Shredder against Flubs was the last game.
Yeah.
I think a little bit of I would say an upset at the end. I feel like the matchup for Shredder is actually pretty good against Flubs. This is a little bit more difficult, I would say.
Yeah, I would say so too. And I think we are usually not in favor of swapping commanders, but depending on how the first game go, I might consider swapping to Torak in this matchup.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So
protection from white is very strong against this deck.
Exactly.
And
this card also comes in handy. You're drawing a couple of cards, and
both commanders have lifelink, have menace, which is an interesting dynamic. I can't just block with Ketramose. I have to have another creature on the battlefield if I want to block the Shredder. But 4/4 lifelink indestructible is pretty good against a mono black deck. Most of your removal is going to be destroyer removal. There might be a couple of edicts, but yeah.
The list is from Oni. Actually, we didn't do any changes. I think he's the one picking up the deck again. He played it some time ago, and now it got more popular again with Tazigua being unbanned.
Yeah.
So it's much more attractive to tackle graveyards again. Not that it was not attractive beforehand, but you know there is one more command zone that gives you a reason.
Yeah.
And it was always a solid tier 2 control deck.
And resolving a Ketramose is also pretty good against the Spider-Man.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
I think it's a deck that has a decent matchup against maybe even a good matchup against the current contenders in the high tier field.
Yeah.
So that's why we decided to bring it back. You played it back then in Lyon. Not as successful as you wanted it to be, but
there were some issues with the list that I built.
Yeah.
But also the metagame that I faced was a pretty difficult one for Ketramose. There was a lot of control, Aragorn, Airtie. And that's Airtie is a very bad matchup against Ketramose because he can just wait with his Airtie until I cast my Ketramose, and then what am I doing?
Yeah.
Right. So interesting.
You can pray for Witherboon, but apart from that,
exactly.
There's not much going on. Okay, we will see who starts first.
I didn't check. I was back in the old way of doing it.
You will start.
I will start.
He knew about it. He was lying. We will
exactly. I'm cheating.
And get back. All right.
We are back. You can see 7 cards lying here. That was the first hand that I pulled. One of the spicy cards that Ketramose gets to play is Serum Powder, which lets me exile my hand instead of mulligan.
Yeah.
For when I have a Serum Powder in my hand. So I have removed these cards from my deck. And now Ketramose is already online when I play him.
That's definitely a fancy interaction. This one is also gone.
Yeah.
All right.
So I will start the game off with a command tower and an Inquisition of Kozilek.
No, we can't do that.
I think we can.
No, it's always this discard stuff is so annoying. You get to choose from those 4.
So that's a Fell the Profane.
That's a
which
Fell the
is
Profane,
CMC
yeah.
4.
Yeah. I don't need to flip that.
Yeah, I think I will take the Sinkhole.
That's what I thought.
I want to keep my lands. Your turn.
Yeah, I'll play this, pass the turn.
Okay. Tap, draw. We'll play a land. And cast an Unlicensed Hearse.
Okay.
Your turn.
That's fine for me. We'll play a Swamp and a Bauble and my commander.
That's fine.
I'll crack it right away.
Yep.
Even if you get to untap that, that's okay. Pass the turn.
Yeah, I will
Eat
take 2
those
cards
2.
from your graveyard.
Yep.
Unlicensed Hearse is at
Draw
2.
cards.
I will draw as well. I saw no way to remove Ketramose on your side of the field.
I think I don't run that many. I think I have 2 edict effects or something.
Yeah.
She Older's edict and
I think, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I will play a Ketramose.
Yep.
I will take the Hearse up to 3, lose a life, draw a card, and pass the turn.
All right. I will draw a card. I will play a land. And I have a rather good play. Pitch.
Pitch a...
Pitch a Bitter Triumph.
Yeah. That's fine.
And I will Malakir it.
Okay. So you lose 2 life?
Yep.
And you see Swift, Fatal Push, Kaya's Guile, and a land. Kaya Orzhov. Usurp. So I was like, okay, you can cast your Grief, you can take one of the answers to Shredder, but now you have 2. So you have
But you knew about it. You saw it in the...
True.
In the...
I saw it flipped. I wasn't thinking about
I have
the
one trigger. Yeah, I think I will definitely take the Swift. And I should maybe also take the Fatal Push, yeah.
I would think so, yeah.
Yeah. Then I have 1 trigger here. Then I take 4/3.
Take 3.
This one enters step, by the way.
Yeah.
Spell Bomb.
Okay.
And if you do that, I think I will exile your Swift now.
Okay.
To draw cards. And then you can proceed.
Okay. Draw.
Yeah.
Um,
He also has Menace, yeah.
yes. I think we can start off by attempting to exile both the cards in your graveyard.
Trigger. Draw 1, right?
Draw a card, yeah.
Or 1 or more, yeah.
Yeah. Then I will play a land. And I lose a life from the exile.
Yeah.
Then I will go with another exile. I would like to Portable Hole.
Yeah.
Commander, lose a life, draw a card.
Yep.
And attack.
Yep. So up to
18. And I think I can go for this card, which isn't too relevant, but I will go for a Soul Cauldron.
Okay.
And I think tap it right away to exile my Fatal Push.
Yep.
Okay.
Draw a card, lose a life.
And it's your turn.
All right. That's hilariously bad against you, I would say. Yeah, I can just cast my commander again and attack for 3.
Take 3. 1, 2, 3.
Pass the turn.
Draw.
Yep.
Land. Fetch.
Trigger.
Tap, Soul Cauldron, target.
Yep.
Catacombs. Sorry, that's 2. Ossification on the snow-covered swamp. Target, Shredder.
All
Trigger.
right.
Draw a card. Lose a life. Then combat.
Yep. Go to 10, you go to 15. There's nothing to return.
Relic. Pass.
That's not bad. Draw. I will keep attacking. And I will crack the spell bomb to draw cards.
Yeah.
And I target my own graveyard. So I'm going to exile it right away.
Yeah.
Play a Caustic Bronco.
Mm-hmm.
Passing the turn.
Okay, yeah, I think mana efficiency-wise, it's best to draw a card with a relic now.
Okay. You have enough cards in hand anyways.
I do have a lot of cards in hand.
So
Tap.
if you draw another creature to crew the hearse, it might be over already. Very much depends on...
Yeah, that is...
You don't need much, actually.
Not quite the case.
You need a creature and a removal spell that does not exile, and then you're good.
You say that like it's easy. I will play Northern Saga.
So far, you have quite an easy game, I would say.
That's that's true, yeah.
You started good with the powder. A classic Oath of Control, how it's written in the books.
I think, yeah, the issue is we've got no more cards in graveyards. But it's not too bad. I'm at 12. I will play a Kaya.
Yep.
I think there's a lot of matchups and situations where she does provide a lot of value.
Absolutely. Not in this case. Yeah.
Uptick her. There's no creatures in graveyards. I will go to combat and attack with Ketramose. You are at 6.
You go to 16.
I go to 16. Your turn.
Alrighty. Drawing a card. I'll fetch. Now I have a card. I have to offer that. I think I will cast a Shriekmaw. I'm happy to cast a Shriekmaw in 2026, despite not having
one card in hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Then I can't kill anything.
Yeah.
I would like to settle the Bronco.
Yeah.
Go for combat.
Yeah.
Attack.
Yeah.
Trigger. All right.
Where are you attacking?
Both on you, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take 5.
Then I get another land. And let's see if the blocker survives. Probably not.
Yeah, I mean, I can just...
You can exile it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Go ahead.
So, untap.
And then you win with this guy. Yep.
Yeah,
true. You also have. Yep. All right. Yeah, there's you feel helpless against from my point of view.
Yeah.
Deck plays 20, 25 interaction spells or something like this.
Absolutely. And I mean, the Super Shredder is a card that dies to a lot of removal.
Yeah.
There are kind of, in the red matchups, you eventually have 8 power, 6 power Super Shredder, where that's going to be very difficult to kill. But in the in this case, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. Maybe a cut down at some point, but I don't even think Ketramose plays cut down, because the quality of exile removal is just so strong.
Yeah. All right, over to game 2. Okay, back to the first round.
Yes.
I'm on to the second round, actually. You took the first one, as expected. As I said, I will swap to Turok in the second one, since this commander at least has protection from white.
Yeah.
Samuel plays a lot of white removal effects, and yeah, I also hope to negate some of your card draw with that, with the discard.
Yeah.
Apart from with a boon, you can't interact with him on stack, so
yeah,
maybe it does its job. I do not have the Super Shredder in the command zone, but I have a
Moon Shadow
similar card
on
on
the
field.
Yeah.
I will crack that right away. Have
Yeah.
a trigger. Look at. Yeah, correct. Thank you. The other way around.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, I will draw this card.
Enjoy your on thin ice.
That's a pretty good card.
I would say so too. Yeah.
It is white removal.
I draw a card, by the way.
I think I can take a hit from the Moon Shadow, so I will play Fodder Strand and pass the turn. Dark Ritual is not in the format anymore, so I don't have to be scared of Turok too quickly. And my life total is you do have some big creatures, but if I can stop the big creatures from attacking, then there's not too big of life total swings to be scared of from your your spells.
Very true. Then I will swing in for 3.
Take 3.
And I pass the turn, I guess.
End of turn, I would like to fetch.
Yep.
Yeah. We are #1 cut down haters.
It's just a ridiculously bad card.
That sometimes has to be played.
Unfortunately.
I mean, I could have killed the Moon Shadow if I had it.
I mean, you could have searched for a snow-covered basic.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Oh, you mean if you had to
if I had cut down last turn, I would have been able to kill it.
That's right.
Then I will surveil. Keep that card on top. Untap, draw. Play a snow-covered plains. And on thin ice, the Moon Shadow.
Moon Shadow is exiled.
Then I'll pass the turn.
End of turn. I will play a relatively new card, the Bitter Bloom Bearer.
That is okay. I will, however...
Not destroy it. Just leave it on the field.
Dismember it. Costs a lot of life.
That's costly.
But...
My turn?
Yep. No.
Yeah, that is a bit unfortunate. Your deck does play... I will fetch... Does play Opposition Agent 2, so I will fetch ahead and pass the turn.
Okay, untap, draw. We'll Razor Ambush, right?
Yeah. Razor Grass Ambush.
Razor Grass Ambush. Tapped.
I think that's the Razor Grass Fields is this one, but I'm not entirely sure.
And pass the turn.
Yeah, okay. No Opposition Agent, end of turn.
Nope.
From my part. Not from your part either. I'll play this guy.
So I have a Mana Tithe.
Oh, come on. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Draw a card. I think I will take this point in time to resolve a Ketramose and pass the turn.
Fetch. It's good, right?
Yeah.
There's no interaction on that. Or for that.
Tickage does non-basic, right?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
I would love to have that online against the on-fan ice, I guess. But so far, I was just about to say there are no
Field of the Dead. And
I was about to say there are no snow-covered non-basics, which is not true. There's an entire dual cycle that has the snow type. I think I will just hardcast a flare.
Okay.
and let you sacrifice Ketramose.
Yeah.
And then I pass the turn.
I will untap. I will draw. I will play a land.
Yep.
And I think you can recast Turak next turn, and I don't want you hitting this card, so I will play one of the more spicy cards in this deck, the Abyss.
It's just non-artifact. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then I'll pass the turn.
So let me check again.
During your upkeep, you destroy a non-creature.
Yeah, which basically means that I'm
Non-artifact creature.
never going to win this game, probably. But we will see. We will see. I guess I will cast a Phyrexian Arena.
Oh,
which
that is it's not a bad card.
Yeah, I think so too. At least not hit by the Abyss.
Yeah.
And yeah, then I think to prevent your cast from happening, I might shut that down.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Untap. Oops. Draw. I'll play a land and recast Ketramose. Hopefully no edicts this time. Pass the turn.
We will see. Upkeep. Trigger. Lose a life. Draw a card. Then I will draw another card. That is correct. I will nonetheless cast my Turak Kicked.
Yeah.
Make you discard 2 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
You keep this one and a discard. Solitude and Ouse. That's not bad.
That's.
I mean, Solitude is not the best card against him.
But this card is a good card against him.
Right.
So
go ahead.
He has 2 counters.
2 counters. Yeah. Thank you. And you can go.
I will upkeep destroy Ketramose.
Yep. Surprise, surprise.
Then I will. This is an interesting include. I'm not sure how much I like it, but it does hopefully solve things this time. Yeah, I will cast a Demonic Consultation and say Snow-Covered Plains. If I name a single card, then there's the risk that it's in the top 6 or that it's very deep down in my library. But this deck does play 4 Snow-Covered Plains. So
it's likely
the chance that they're either all in here or that they're very deep are not that high. I hit 1.
1, yeah, okay.
And now we're at 7 cards in exile. And then I will keep going till I do hit the plains. There we go. So Damnation gone, Maze gone, Grief
a couple of things,
yeah, a couple of things
not
gone.
too crazy.
I will play the plains and attack with Ketramose.
Block.
This has menace.
Oh, right, it has menace. Yeah.
So I gain 4 life.
Yep.
And pass the turn. Upkeep.
Upkeep?
Yeah.
So how is it?
You destroy one of your creatures.
Target so I can't even interact with that. Okay, that's a bit awkward.
No, you target us.
But
I can pull up the Oracle text.
No.
You can get your.
I cannot, because the trigger is already on stack and I have to choose a target.
That's true.
That's my problem.
And you were tapped.
So I don't need to Ghost Quarter because that means Turok is gone either way. Yeah, I can't.
But you could do it in response in order to get 1 counter on the Moon Shadow. If you get another creature in play, you can maybe do something.
It's okay. Upkeep, I lose a life and I draw a card. It's crazy how many cards I draw, how many lands I actually draw. But it is what it is. Play another of those lands. I might just sinkhole your Orbog.
Yeah.
Then I pass the turn.
Yeah, destroy Ketramose, draw a card, attack with Ketramose.
Yep. Go to 7.
Go to 20. Play a land, pass the turn.
Upkeep, lose a life, draw a card, draw another card.
It's a lot of land.
I only draw land. I like this. This is crazy. Going to 6. Yeah, I mean it's usually not the case that mono black can deal with enchantments.
Yeah.
So that's another of those problematic cards. You have 1 card left in hand. I will cast a Ghost Vacuum. Will exile your Solitude. Oh no, never mind. I can. Yeah, but I have to do it. Exile your Solitude.
Okay.
And then I pass the turn.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think Fitching to Thin is relevant here.
I don't think so either.
I don't have any more swamps, but yeah, I will untap, I will draw.
Yeah.
I'll go to combat.
Yep. So eventually I will die off of the Phyrexian Arena here.
True. I'll play a land and pass the turn.
So 1 more draw. Yeah. This could have been a thing a bit earlier, I guess. Since I cannot prevent this trigger, a Bowmaster is not it.
Nope.
I mean, I can activate this and exile your commander once.
Yep.
Could do that.
I can pass the turn next
You
turn.
can pass the turn and just die to the trigger.
Yep.
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 GG.
GG.
Yeah, that was a rather frustrating session here. I think I could have done a bit more if it wasn't for... Like, I kept the 4 land already, and I drew these lands afterwards.
Yeah.
Despite having double triggers.
I also drew a lot of lands.
If you're flooded, you're just flooded. You can't win games.
I think I kept... these are the spells that I kept.
Yeah, this is another of those cards. So what I said...
I also drew a lot of lands. There was 3 more... No, I kept the Alternus as well.
In between the games... Yeah. No, this was on top. You drew that.
Yeah.
What I said in between the games, when we thought about which deck to play in the focus session and what competitors it would have, which decks it would face, I primarily thought about the member vote that we had with Flups, which was a cool showing actually. It was a balanced matchup.
Yeah.
And Ketramose, because some people requested it, as I said in the beginning, it became more popular again. I didn't think about the fact that the dynamics of this duel are very awkward.
Yeah.
And might have not,
as we saw,
not been too entertaining for you because it's more or less a stomp. You have so many tools against my game plan. I think it would be very different if I would have played Azerarak. I think that would be a pretty interesting game because you have to have instant speed in order to interact with my combos.
Yeah.
The combo pieces itself you can interact with because you have like those static prism effects and stuff.
And you blank all of my creature removal. So
I blank all the creature removal, exactly, which makes it harder to draw cards with Ketramose also.
Yeah.
Tackling my graveyard is okay, but not too crazy.
Yeah.
So this is probably the black matchup that would have been more interesting, but as I said, I'm sorry for that. I didn't realize it would maybe not make for the best matchup. But we have another deck.
Yeah, and we saw Ketramose do some cool things. I think
Absolutely.
the Abyss is a card that very few decks can feature, and this is one of them. That does some very cool stuff there. And
you see that we saw that we play with some proxies because I ordered this guy some time ago. It still didn't arrive. Abyss is in the making. We're currently I'm getting one, but it's not yet here.
Yeah,
that's why we proxy those cards. But yeah, I think it's cool. I mean, it's one of those cards that you don't really need in your collection, but it's super cool to have
every now and then
in Duel Commander that can play it, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Very
thanks for tuning in, guys.
And see you next time.
Yeah, we will see each other in the third one. Bye-bye.